Good afternoon. I'm Priscilla Ferrari and I'll be your host today. Boa tarde, gente. Eu sou a Priscilla Ferrari e eu serei a sua host today. Guys, welcome to another video on my channel. I don't know if I ever told you guys about an amazing experience that I had 4 years ago. It was when I worked for the Olympic Games back in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. We all know and we're all upset that the Olympics are getting pushed back to next year because, of course, coronavirus. And I was feeling very nostalgic and going through my pictures and videos, and I was like, how I never talked about my experience working in the Olympic Games. It was definitely one of the most exciting and incredible experience of my life. But anyway, how everything started was 4 years ago when a friend of my family sent me a link to a job from this website called Dream Jobbing, and it was an opportunity to be a screen talent, to be a field reporter. So I would have to interview fans, interview celebrities, interview athletes during the competitions and all of that. So for the application for the job, I had to do a video of 1 minute and explaining my passion for the sport and going back and forth from English and Portuguese. I had to be obviously fluent in Portuguese because it's the hometown of the Olympics. Hi, I'm Priscilla Ferrari. I was born and raised in Rio, now I live in LA. I came here to study acting. Eu sou apaixonada pelo esporte porque eu pratico desde que sou criança com meus pais e amigos. E eu sei que o esporte traz união, não só dos atletas, mas como dos torcedores. E eu quero participar dessa experiência em Rio 2016. So I did this video, and it was exactly here that I started my video. I did with my friends. I called my friend Natalie. I was like, yo, I have 2 days to do this deadline so I can be working the Olympic Games. So I recorded all one full day. It was only 1 minute. I edited it, and I started trying to submit on the website, and it was not working. I don't know why. The website was not accepting my video. I could not submit, so I missed the deadline and I didn't submit. I was very upset because I was like, can you imagine working the Olympics? Like, I don't want to lose an opportunity like that. So I started emailing the production, the website, and nobody was replying me. Well, I'm a kind of a stalker, so when I want to find out something, I do find out. The guy that promoted the video and explained all the things that we had to do, I found out his name and I found him on Facebook. And then, world is so small that I found out that this guy went to the same high school I went. So on Facebook, we had 5 friends in common. So when I went to message him, I didn't sound like a crazy person. So I messaged him, I explained everything that happened, that I did my video, that I really want to participate, that I really want to work for the Olympics. And then I sent my video, and then he was super excited. He really liked the video. He was like, I'm going to send it to my boss. He's going to get in contact to you. His boss got in contact with me. He loved the video, but he said that all the places were full, that they already picked other people, that unfortunately they couldn't do it. And I was like, well, I'm still going to the Olympics just for vacation to visit my family. So if you really need anybody, let me know. I will be there and stuff. They were like, okay, keep in touch. 2 weeks passed. I went to Brazil. I messaged and I was like, hey, just for you guys know, I'm in Brazil. If you guys need any job, I really would love to be part of the Olympic Games. So they were trying to fit me in any type of job they could find, volunteer jobs and anything. 2 days before the Olympics, I got a call and they were saying that I got the job, that somebody gave up and they needed me to do archery. And I was like, okay, I don't know anything about archery, but sure, I pretended I did. And I did my research, I did my homework, I found out, I learned everything I had to do for archery. And later in the same day, they said, actually, we need you for archery and to cover up the soccer. And I was like, okay, well, I love soccer, so that would be super cool. I had 24 hours to sign the papers, sign the contract. It was so crazy to see that in my city. And even though in the beginning I was against for it, we're gonna have the Olympics, so we had to be excited for it. I was part of the sport presentation. Sport presentation, we are in charge of entertain the guests between the open of the venue. So whenever they open the venue, the people start to get in the venue until the game time. a lot of things happen big screen. You have music, you have people getting interviewed, you have questions, you have like things on the big screen. So being a field reporter, what I had to do was during these break times between halftime of soccer, break times that like the competitions were not happening, I would have to interview the fans on the bleachers. I had to like dance with them. I had to like create stuff with them and have fun and entertain the people. So it was very challenging because we had a script of like idea of like what times we would go in and stuff, but we have to pick the person by the costume they would be dressed up, that everything would change as the game would go. So for example, if I'm interviewing a Brazilian person and they're speaking Portuguese, I will have to repeat the question in English and in Portuguese. I would have to go back and forth in English and vice versa. My first thing on the venue was working on Engenhão, which it is a smaller like soccer stadium, but it is really pretty. And I was very nervous because it was the first jobs were covering the soccer. But I had Luciana, which she was my co-host, so we did it together the first 2 days. And she was a reporter. She had experience with that, and she was so comfortable doing it. And she kind of like gave that to me. So it's good to have like kind of like a mom right there helping me out, and not like feeling that this is all by myself. And it was so nice because we kind of like had a crew family. So on the field, we'd always be me, Luciana, and the field producer, which was the person that would always pick who was gonna start talking, who we would interview, and then we have the cameraman. It was incredible. So the first days were like just a warm up. It was my first time, so I was trying not to be hard on myself. When I moved on to archery, that's when it was challenging. Because first, archery, I had no clue. So it was a completely new sport for me. And second of all, it was me by myself. I had no Luciana, I had nobody, so I had to be there for probably like was 10 days that we were covering archery. And I learned so much because I had no idea that Korean people were so good in archery, and they have passions friends, and I got to meet all the fans from the athletes, and they were just so welcoming, and they were like hugging me, and they'd be like, they knew my name, and they would be like want to take pictures with me. Getting to the final of the archery, we would bring like a school of samba, so I would samba with them. And my special thing, and even thinking about it makes me want to cry, it's every time somebody would call me to talk or something, my cue was always, she's fast, she's fierce, she is Priscilla Ferrari. So it was a very welcome cue, and it felt me special. So like I said before, like after spending 10 days and probably 12 hours with all these people, we became like a family. So every like venue that I went, it was just like a good vibe. Moving on from that, I finally went and working on the soccer. They called me, they're like, we need you to work the soccer for the finals. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna work in the finals. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm working Maracanã. And I started being so nervous, thinking that 100,000 people are gonna be watching me. And it was like a special game because it was our revenge against Germany after the World Cup. It was 2 years after, and we were both in the final. Just like I remember my first days and just like getting to Maracanã and stepping on the grass and being on the field and just like rehearsing that. I'm like, this is a dream come true. Like for a Carioca, going in Maracanã and working, that was a big thing, especially me that I'm like a soccer Flamengo fan. And it was so hard actually because it was the busiest venue that I actually worked for. So it was like 100,000 people there. So when I'm interviewing somebody and then somebody's answering, I'm not listening to the microphone. I'm listening to what they're saying. But I'm in a stadium of people yelling and screaming. And I had to translate what the person was saying for English. So I would be like, I don't know what they're saying. I don't know what I'm going to translate. So I would just had to figure it out how to do it. In the end, when Brazil was tied with Germany, they went to penalties, and I don't like him anymore, but Neymar made the penalty that Brazil won.
Neymar of Barcelona, of Brazil, gives Brazil their first ever Olympic
Wow,
gold medal.
I was in the field, I was in the corner of the soccer field, and I just saw that on the field, and I could see and feel the entire stadium just shaking, and everybody is screaming, campeão! It was like the highest moment, the climax of my life. It was just incredible to be there, incredible to feel that, incredible to, you know, like see again like how the sports can unify the people, not only having the experience of working for the Olympics, but having the experience of like I persisted for this job. When I want something, I do work for it, and I get it. So I feel like that's what I'm trying to pass to you guys. So like if you have a type of opportunity like that and you see yourself doing, like don't give up until you get it, because you're gonna get. One of my favorite things that I literally loved about Olympics and made it this time entirely so incredible was about how it was how transformed my city. My city was safe. Like they had all the cops. I felt safe in Rio. I was hanging out with my friends, all the events that we're having. And other thing that was very important to finish up the video, guys, it was all the people that I met. Probably I don't talk to all of them until today, but they were all very special to me. I have a memory pictures of all of them. I barely talked to half of them, but it definitely was a big family. You guys are gonna be they're gonna be my. It's just like I think it was a dream come true, a dream realization for everybody who not want to work in the Olympic Games. So it was just a very gratification situation, and be able to like participate and be a part of it, and it brought like so much happiness to our city. It was good to be part of it. So I hope you guys liked it. If you have any questions about my experience at the Olympics, let me know. Comment here, like, share, subscribe, and I see you in the next video. Beijos!
Dá um salve à nossa nação. E através dessa canção hoje posso fazer minha declaração. Entre house e boy, bem que vi ela jogando bola dentro da favela. Pro menor não tem coisa melhor, e a menina que sonha em ser uma atriz de novela. A rua é nossa e eu sempre fui dela, desde descalço gastando canela. Hoje no asfalto de toda São Paulo, de nada.